let you know how great it is to have you here for the Greater Purpose Podcast.
What's up?
Welcome to the Greater Purpose Podcast from the Cubs Room. What do you think?
I like it. It's the first time I've been here, and it's pretty neat. I'm a baseball card collector, so I love
so there you go, right? Baseball fan?
Oh yeah.
So there you go. See, we only allow baseball fans on the podcast. That's not true. We've had all kinds of guys on here. So today we're going to have a very special guest, and I'm going to introduce you in just a minute. Before I do that, I've got to do my due diligence and make sure you visit the-greater-purpose.com. You can catch up on all the podcasts. You can go ahead and you can get some Avon from my executive producer, Donna Ward, my awesome wife. She's my executive producer. So, and there are other links there. You can find some pretty interesting stuff there. And also, we want to make sure we mention that our Greater Purpose of a Godly Man men's conference is April 27th. And so there's a link there. You can get your e-ticket. The e-ticket is not required, but if you want to get fed, you got to have an e-ticket because that's what we're using for the head count. So go there and get that. And also, we want to say and express and celebrate. I don't know how I'm going to put that, but this is the 53rd podcast. And our first year anniversary for the Greater Purpose Podcast was this past Wednesday, March 13th it was. And here we are starting our second year. And so you're our first guest of the second year. How cool is that, right?
I always like leading off.
That's crazy, right? I love it. That's great. Matthew Postell.
Yes, sir.
So glad to have you here.
Yep.
And I know who you are, and you're going to tell them who you are.
Sure. Well, I'm Matthew Postell. Grew up in Gaston County all my life. So I actually graduated from Hunter Huss, so if that gives you a little backstory to me.
We got some Ashbrook watching.
That's right. Watch out.
Yeah.
But married my high school sweetheart, if you want to call her that. We met my senior year. Mm-hmm. Her name's Courtney Barkley. So we have 3 kids, twin boys that are about to turn 11 here in March, just a week or two later. And my daughter, who is 16, and of course she's driving, doing all the teenage things and stuff. So we're having fun.
We'll be praying for your brother. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And tell us your ministry involvement. You got some ministry involvement?
Yep. I help out with Cross Trail Outfitters. Jason Mitchell.
Yep.
As you know,
he'll be at the men's conference.
Yep. He'll be speaking and everything there. Mm-hmm. So he's, I've known him for a little while now through Cross Trail Outfitters.
Okay.
And anything from the technical side, I try to help him out as much as I can. And I also serve a big part at my church, UR Church, in the video production world, because that's what I do.
Yep.
I own 42 Pros, and in that business, it's video production and photography. So that's just kind of my world.
Yes, so try to get him. Maybe to do no, I'm just kidding.
We can.
I know some of that professional stuff. We're not professionals here. We're amateurs.
Hey.
For a whole year, we're just amateurs. So, but we're having fun, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
Having fun and serving the Lord. So that's cool. Right. Yeah, I hadn't seen you in a while, and then I saw you at UR Church, and there you were in the sound booth, of course.
That's right.
I'm moving my model.
That's right.
He's got to be in all of it. So I haven't mentioned him in a while, by the way. That is, in case you didn't know, folks, that is my bobblehead. It is me, Will Yace. Will Yace is an old nickname, which I have not explained to anybody on this podcast. Maybe we'll do that in the second year.
Maybe.
We'll make you stay around for another year. So, all right, cool. So you told us who you are.
Yes.
When did you first recognize the importance of the attempt? Because none of us are there. We're never going to be there until we get to glory. But the importance of attempting to become a godly man. And you are a godly man, but tell us, when did you recognize that?
Really, it was early teenage years. I had one of those, I guess, misfortunes of having a drug problem when I was a kid, and my parents drugged me to church every week. You know what I'm saying? So,
I had a drug problem. It was a different kind of drug problem. Yeah, they drugged you to church. Yeah.
But every Sunday morning,
you should stretch that out a little bit more.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
But yeah, so every Sunday morning, Sunday evening,
Yeah.
Wednesday evenings. You know, we were at church.
Boy, yeah.
You know, and just from all those seeds that got planted from all the pastors and people coming in for revivals and stuff, just it just started.
Now, what church?
Back then, it was Rich Baptist Church down in the southern part of the county.
Gotcha.
And so it was just one of those times where I was hearing God, and He said, "Hey, you need to step out, follow me." And I got to that point where I realized, hey, I needed this Savior, this dude named Jesus.
Yeah.
And so just basically did the Romans road, and ever since then it's been.
That's great.
You know, I guess I was 13 then, so it's been a while because I'm 47.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a couple years here.
Yeah, and one of my claims of fame when I see people, just to be a conversation piece, is, they offer me an alcoholic beverage or something. I'm like, man, I ain't had one in 46 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, huh?
Yeah.
How old are you? I was like, I'm 46.
Yeah.
Now I'm 47.
There you go. Wow.
So that kind of breaks the ice, you know.
Yeah.
But back then it was had a lot of good guys in my life.
Yeah.
And like I said, they were just giving and
followed that path.
Correct.
Cool. So, and we're going to talk about some of those in a minute, because right now you're going to tell us who has been your biggest inspiration, man or woman, in your godly walk.
And that's a pretty easy one for me. His name is Tim Brown. He actually lives in South Carolina now, and back in the day he was my youth pastor.
Ah, gotcha.
So for three and a half years, in my high school years, he was the one that really cracked open the prophetic word to us as teenagers and stuff. And from then, I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. We got this God who cares enough about us that, hey, I'm going to send my son to take your place, so you ain't got to worry about paying the price of sin. But now I understood that. Oh, by the way, there's a roadmap,
right?
And I'm going to tell you some stuff that's going to happen in the future ahead of time. So I was like, that was really intriguing to me.
Sure,
very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of getting a little ahead of us here, but one of the things that kind of really opened my eyes once I started learning and reading a little more about that was a book from a guy named Hal Lindsey called The Late Great Planet Earth.
Yeah.
And his whole concept, well, not the entire concept, but one of the concepts out of that book was the fact that once the generation that sees Israel become a nation again, then that generation is not going to pass until all these things come to, they're fulfilled. He's kind of quoting Matthew 24 there. And so I was like, man,
that's where we are.
Yes, sir. And so prophecy's been my hot button for 30 years.
Oh, cool.
And I love reading, Daniel and Matthew and Revelation. And
it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen to David Jeremiah at all?
David Jeremiah, yep.
And there's another one. Robert Jeffers sometimes does the prophecy thing. Janet Markell.
Janet Markell. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Jack Hibbs and
there you go.
A couple other guys.
Amazing. Just amazing. I mean, I listen and it just blows my mind. So, but cool. All right. So see there, 30 years later, you had 3 years of inspiration with your youth pastor. 30 years later, someone is affected still in walking the godly walk. So guys, you're out there serving. You don't know, you don't see, but just trust that God is going to make sure that seed that's planted grows. You just got to plant the seed, and water it too.
Yeah, you're going to have a little water there.
Yeah. So, but you could be the planter, you could be the scatterer, you could be the planter, you could be the waterer, or you could see the harvest, so any part of that is an awesome piece of it. So,
that's right.
Yeah, cool. So how do you feel like you're most effective, in affecting men's lives, boys' lives? I know you say the Cross Trail Outfitters, obviously you're involved with that, your video productions, you're in the sound booth at the church, etc. But how do you feel like in all that, how are you most effective in building into other men's lives and boys' lives, young men, boys, teenagers, that kind of thing?
Well, it kind of fits the mold of being applicable to everybody. And it's really just finding out what your role is in the body of Christ, and then just doing it. For me, it's video production, a little bit of the worship team because I can play keys and I'm a little technical there.
Cool. Yeah.
Sound booth, obviously.
Right.
just all those different pieces and parts of a modern worship service.
Yeah.
But because I'm able to do that, and somebody asked me, "Hey, well, why don't you do something else?" I said, well, this is my body part,
Yeah.
of where I fit into the church. So, and I would like to stay in that role as much as I possibly can. So I kind of stick with that genre.
Sure.
And I really run my race to the fullest. I work as if I'm working directly for the Lord.
Yeah, we're supposed to.
And that's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
So, and by doing that, other men or other people in general could say, okay, well, if he's staying in his lane, doing his thing, but he's doing it, to the best of his ability, then maybe I need to find my lane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And just do the serving piece, because as you know, when you get into serving, you get blessed way more than what you would just attending a service.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Plus, you can get stretched and molded and shaped to do something even greater than what you could even imagine,
Yeah.
So
I've heard some people recently that were discouraged about people not jumping into certain types of ministry. And I'm like, listen, we all have different places to plug in.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm going to serve and where God's going to use me is not going to be the same place for you.
That's correct.
So I can't be disappointed that 50 people don't join up and want to, jump in and be in a big podcast production or something, or they don't want to. Now, having said that, there are a lot of people who have jumped into our men's ministry. The conference is coming up, but it's taken 4 years. Now, there have been guys that have come alongside and built into it, but this year even more so, but it's a progression. Mm-hmm. So plug in where you need to plug in, be effective where you need to be effective. Don't get stretched out too far where you're just kind of dabbling in everything and maybe not making a difference, right? So Cross Trail Outfitters, I'm sure I've seen some videos. That you've done for them, because I know he brings a video every year. So that's that. You guys got to come to the conference to see that. So that'll be cool. That'll be great. So all right. So I know you're touching lives there, because that's an amazing organization.
Yeah, definitely. Right? And like I said, with Jason and Cross Trail Outfitters for our local chapter here at Catawba River.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I really fit into this.
Cool.
Because again, that's my lane.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah,
and another thing about serving and finding out where you need to be serving is try to stay in that lane, because if you try to straddle the fence and go in multiple areas, you're stealing the ability for somebody else to serve.
That's good.
So you don't have to do everything, because we don't have 3 or 4 things for our body. We got 5 fingers on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes 5 to make a complete hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not 1.
Right.
So
there you go. I like
just something to think about.
Sure. No, that's cool. I like that. And that what you just said about not taking it away from, if you can't let others succeed in their ministries and even delegate to some degree, depending on what your position is, then the ministry is not going to be successful anyway. So some of the best, most effective ministries are run by people who can delegate, administrate, and let people do their, even if they stumble, they still got to let them do what God's calling them to do. So pretty cool stuff. So,
and just to keep rolling on that one, not to cut you off,
but that's what we're here for.
I lost my thought.
That's okay. I've done that before too. And I don't cut mine out, so I'm not going to cut yours out.
That's fine. That is fine.
So, so I do want to say, I do remember one of your videos. Yeah, anytime you want to jump in. One of your videos that you did with a drone running into your drone ran into a seagull. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It just crashed.
Yeah.
So
I was covering a fishing tournament out at the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And the whole fleet had left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So every big multi-million-dollar yacht had already left.
Yeah.
And then this one guy was still getting fuel, and he was the last one to leave. I said, well, do I need to go follow behind him, get some photos, get some videos? I said, well, it's a beautiful day. Might as well, because I'm here. It's already, out. Let's catch it. Let's fly it. And follow in behind him. And sure enough,
on the video,
we hadn't got out of the inlet. Right there. I'm right there where I was at.
Yeah.
And I'm flying along nice and steady. I might have been doing, 10 or 15 miles an hour, not fast. And literally this seagull comes up and looks dead at the camera. And he goes, it just crashes right into it.
Is that still on your website, or is it
Somewhere? Yeah, it's somewhere.
I'm not saying it was great because it killed your drone. So that was probably an expensive drone, especially.
Yeah. I mean, the drone was pretty expensive, but fortunately, we got business insurance and stuff like that.
Right.
What hurt was the footage that was already on that car.
Oh, yeah, because that was gone.
Yeah.
I know how that is being a photographer. So, okay, sorry, I went off, and I was remembering that video. So, all right. So you had picked some topics for us, and I can't remember which ones did you say you were going to go with? Either five. Okay, a mix. Okay, that's right. You said a mix and match. So we usually send the topics: 5 men who've inspired you, 5 women who've inspired you, 5 heroes of the faith, or 5 Bible favorites. So you're going to mix. We like to mix and match. Yeah. We've done that before here, so go for it. Give us what you got.
As far as some of the men that's inspired me, like I've mentioned before, the prophetic side of the Bible is very intriguing to me, and it's always been my hot button. Like I said, ever since I've been a teenager, it's been just. That's what I read the most. Like some people read daily devotionals. Yeah. I'm cracking out Daniel or Revelation.
Revelation.
The good thing about Revelation is if you actually take the time to read it, and try to learn it, there's an extra blessing.
It says right at the beginning.
Yes, just from reading that book alone. Okay.
Yeah. So and it's true. I'm telling you, it's true. Yep.
But anyways,
I mean, the book is true, but the blessing is true.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
So, guys like Hal Lindsey, I've already mentioned, he was one of the OGs in the prophetic world who really started speaking on the 1948 era of when Israel come back to life and was reborn again as a nation with the same name. And he said, hey, that's the clock. That's the countdown timer. We started that clock and we're going to 0.
Right.
And, we don't know exactly when that's going to be, but we can see the signs of the times,
Yeah.
Another one, was Perry Stone, and I still watch and read his stuff as much as I possibly can because he really gets into some of the root words, the Jewish culture aspects of it.
He does it from right there in
and he's in Israel.
He's standing right there. That's kind of
cool. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to really look through all the Jewish festivals, the feasts.
Some of them,
but how that lines up with the plan of salvation plus his return, his second return, it is, and it's just unbelievable how it's just how everything fits together.
Comes together, right.
But there's a couple more. Jack Van Impe, he was a big prophecy guy in the 80s and 90s. Now currently, Jed Orkel, Jack Hibbs, Jimmy Evans. There's a couple. There's several more. There's a bunch of them in there. Yeah, but they're really sounding the alarm because of where we're at.
Right. Yeah. Time to wake up. Pay attention. Sure enough.
Yeah.
All right. So those are some of your inspirations. How about so what are you going to mix when you're going to go through? You got some heroes of the faith too.
Yeah. The one that really intrigues me the most is Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that after what
because he was almost, I guess now it would be roughly 3,600 years ago. He saw what we're fixing to see.
Right. Yeah.
And just from knowing where he was at from just a civilization standpoint, culture standpoint, to be able to see down the road and see the stuff that's fixing to happen.
No way he could have. The only way he could know was by prophetic.
Yeah, Also, if you've ever had a chance to study what's called the 70 weeks in Daniel, in that context, there each week is representative of 7 years, so on and so forth, and he physically predicts from the time when I think it was Cyrus said, hey, guys, go back and build the wall in Jerusalem, okay, to the season and the time of when Jesus would come back to Jerusalem to be sacrificed. That's in the 70 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you really dig deep, you can see that the prophetic word is just, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is amazing.
Yep. And to be able to read a book that was written so long ago
and telling us what's going to happen. It's just what's happening. We're seeing it happen. It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. And
so you had another hero of the faith, or
that's where
I'm. Bible favorite. Revelation. You already said.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Yeah. There's a good plug for Shannon Williams'
That's
book,
right.
Revelation Unlocked. Right?
That's right.
You fit that right in there.
That's right.
So it's a great study book. It can be used for Bible study. It can be used for a group study. But yeah, Revelation Unlocked. You can get it on Amazon. I'm not giving you mine. I might. Who knows? You might walk out of here with it.
No,
I know.
This is on Amazon.
Yeah.
But the reason why I picked it up earlier is because it's on my Amazon list.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's cool.
Because I was like, man, North Carolina. I started looking. Oh, Lord, here's my Holly. Yeah.
There you go. Yep, there he is. So
check it out.
Well, I think he left me. Let's see. Did he leave me the? I might be able to get by with that part. So you never know. We'll see. We'll see about that.
We'll see.
But anyway, cool. All right. Anything else you want to throw in there on any scriptures, specific scriptures, or any more heroes of the faith, or any? Is that pretty well wrap it up? That's your inspiration.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot of inspiration.
Yeah. I mean, most of my emails coming from my phone on my personal accounts.
Yeah.
Has Luke 21:28. It's talking about, hey, when you see these things happening, look it up.
Yeah.
Because your redemption's drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's here.
Yeah, it is.
And I can't urge you enough to find a good place that's a Bible preaching church.
Yeah.
Obviously, number one, but then get involved somehow. If it's just greeting somebody at the door, because you don't know, especially today, you don't know what they're going through. And if you could be that smile, like J.D. Sumners and the Stamps used to sing back in the day, give the world a smile.
Yeah.
Just smile.
Serve.
Say, hey,
there's a place to serve. Yeah.
I hadn't seen you here yet. Or what's your name? Just anything. Because you have no idea what they're going through. And you might be that one person that looks at them and says, hey, I care about you in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And you bring them in, and then they get to hear the word, and that seed is planted. And ultimately is a soul saved just because you said hello, welcome.
That was a gift of a woman named Eva Harkness from a church that I went to and got saved at in Statesville. The gift of encouragement. And those years in the 90s when I was newly saved and watching her be so encouraging, she's an elderly lady, just encouraging everyone. And I even said to her one day, I said, I'm going to pray for God to give me that gift and teach me how to do that. And it's taken me, that was in the 90s. So, it's taken me a while, but it's amazing the people that will open up and share and befriend you just because you're kind and you're compassionate and you're loving, and they see that in you. So, which, by the way, his first kind and compassionate and loving connection with me was when he was a Stanley police officer, and I went out to Country Fest, and I moved the barricade and I pulled into the parking lot. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
And I walked up to the tent because we were getting ready for Country Fest, the gospel stage, and he goes, "Did you move that barricade right there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You're not supposed to pull it." And he was dead serious. And how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
6'4", and I'm 5'10", right? And he's in his full outfit, his officer's uniform. And I was, you could probably still see my face, right? I'm looking, I'm going, I was turning around to go back to my car to take my car out of that parking lot and make sure the barricade, and he started laughing. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was great though, but I'll never forget it. It was hilarious. And we've had a friendship since then. So it's been great. So cool. All right. So that's the serious stuff.
Yep.
Now so everybody that comes on here has to give us a sports related story. Okay. And the reason is because look where we are. We're in the Cubs room. So you have to give us sports. That's the lighthearted part. But before we do that, you get some parting gifts. So maybe that book. I don't know yet. We're still deciding on the book. But one of your parting gifts is Mr. Bill's STEM Education and Bill Ward Photography hand sanitizer. This is the shameless plug for my businesses, So I bought like a bulk of this stuff years ago, right after COVID, and they couldn't get rid of it. So I actually paid less for the printing and the bottle than you would pay for a bottle of hand sanitizer.
Really?
But then I was stuck with cases of it. So no, it's very valuable. This highly valuable. I'm not fooling anybody, right? And then also you will receive an autograph. And number 53, I will number it. Number 50. Don't let me forget the number. I think I've been forgetting the number. Number 53, official Willie Ace Chicago Cubs baseball card. This was a picture from the parade I told you about. I'll autograph that and it'll be worth exactly what it's worth when you walk out of here,
That's
whatever
right.
that is. Yeah. So, and
Rookie
you also
card.
receive.
Oh,
Yep.
a rookie card.
It is a rookie
Are
card.
you a rookie?
I was then. That's it. And so I need to get an updated one. I need to get one of me in the podcast room.
Get you a gold cup.
Well, problem was you had to buy so many of them. I had to get rid of.
yeah.
So I think we probably got another year's worth of podcasts.
There
right
it
here.
is.
So yeah, right. And then you also get to choose a Lego superhero. And you say to yourself, in your mind, you're thinking and you're saying, and you want to say out loud, why a Lego superhero?
Why?
A Lego. Why?
I got Craggle.
Why? You're Craggle.
Yeah. That's Crazy Glue on the Lego movie.
Oh, gotcha. See, I didn't see the Lego movie. But these are superheroes. And so, yeah, now I got to watch that. So, Lego superheroes for two reasons. Number one, STEM, science, technology, engineering. You have to build them. See, we're not going to build it for you. It comes in a package. You got to build it yourself. So, engineering is tied in with this STEM. And we believe that God thinks the men who come through here are superheroes. So, you get to choose a superhero. So, you can have, now this is Iron Lady. This is Pepper Potts, I think. Vision, Blackhawk. I can't remember her name. She's on Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue robot lady. There's you know him.
Black Panther?
No, that's the chief. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, I can't think of the name. I just looked at it before I came up around. And there's the raccoon, Rocket.
Oh, okay.
And there's Gamora. And there's a version of Thor. I'm not exactly which version of Thor that is. Sure, which one. There's Ant-Man. There's the same version of Thor. And then there's Captain Marvel, who's also a female, but she's still a superhero. So, what do you think?
I don't know.
Hard to decide, isn't it?
It is. I'll probably go.
It's okay to take a female superhero. We're not going to hold that against you.
I'll go with
That's
Thor.
one of the versions of Thor, I think. Yeah. So there are like multiple versions, like Iron Man. There are multiple versions now.
Correct.
There's like 42 versions. All right. So there you go. There are your parting gifts. Now you get to tell us your sports-related story.
Okay. Well, I got a bunch.
Yeah. Okay. You can only give us one. No, I'm just kidding. Unless they're all tied together. Give us the funniest one. No, the most inspiring one.
Well, how about I'll give you one that you'll like just because you're Cubby.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. I like that.
Back in the day, I got drafted by the Florida Marlins.
Wow.
Got to play in the minor leagues for a little while.
Cool.
And one of our affiliate teams where we actually won a championship was right outside of Chicago. So during one of our breaks, I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't spring. It wasn't All-Star break.
So not Peoria. No, Geneva. Geneva Cubs. Yeah. No kidding.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So it was Kane County Cougars was what it was back then.
Yeah.
And so Pepsi decided to do a commercial with Sammy Sosa and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. So they wanted to do it at Wrigley Field, and they needed a bunch of extras.
Wow.
Well, my whole team was extras or backups.
Oh, cool.
So
that's pretty cool.
That was pretty neat. And and some of the guys that was on that team was Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera.
Wow.
Nate Robertson. I mean, some dudes that played in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And probably, in my belief, probably going to be the last Triple Crown winner, which is Miguel. So
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a great sports story. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's neat. All right, well, cool. Well, listen, we appreciate y'all being here. Remember, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. Go to his podcast.
Yep, 42 Pros on my YouTube channel. So
42 Pros. Cross Trail Outfitters. Check that organization out. They are awesome. They're going to be at the men's conference. And thank you for allowing us to begin our second year of the Greater Purpose Podcast. And Matthew, thank you for being here, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right. God bless. Thanks.